Jeremy Greer.
I'm Gary Butterfield.
And this is Days of Future Cast, the podcast that asks the question, what if there were 1 million Sinisters living below Alaska? What would you do?
Do we know that they're not?
We don't. Has anybody been down there? Have we checked?
I went to Alaska once, but I wasn't under it.
Nope.
So
they dig a lot of oil out of Alaska. I'm assuming that we would have found a supply. We probably would have just killed all the Sinisters for the oil, though. That would have been the first thing that we did.
Or there'd be like Speedos and poppers and stuff inside the oil.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All these whippets in here.
Why does this oil smell like Cyclops? This is really weird.
Yeah. The invading for oil would be great. That's like an Ultimates thing, though. Yeah. Us regular X-Men don't do that.
We don't do any of that stuff. So we're back. We're covering some more Avengers versus X-Men. In this session, we've got a bunch to get through. First off, we're starting with Uncanny X-Men number 15, and this is a pretty good issue. Like this all the sinister craziness that Kieran Gillen is doing is very, very much fun. It is weird to see. I don't know how you felt about this, but like when you get to the main page and it's like part 1 of 3, and I'm like, I'm in a crossover event. Like, what do we do? What do we?
When what was the last issue?
Yeah, the last issue was like part 0.5. Like, what are we doing?
It's very silly. It's just so they can put them together for trades.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's real dumb.
Mm-hmm.
It's also, this is all set up. Like the last issue was also set up and it was real fun, and this is just like the X-Men, daring to a prelude. Basically like coming up there. Before we get into it, cool news that happened since the last time we recorded. They're bringing back the X-Men cartoon.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that. They are, and apparently it's called X-Men 94. They're trying to get the original voice cast, and it's gonna be a literal continuation. Which
yes.
I do not understand at all. Like, we finished that series and it ends much how you would expect an animated show that just kind of ran out of money would end, which is not very well. So I don't know how to feel about that. Like, it feels, I don't know, man. Like, do you think it'll be good?
I'm excited. I think they'll have like modern writers with modern sensibility in it. They're not going to hire like the weird 50-year-old men who had never heard of the X-Men. That just had, like the word claw on the back of a Post-it note and just did the whole thing from that. It's going to be, they're going to have some fresh faces in there, and it will just be fun to see the voice actors back.
Yeah.
I think they've actually, it's not that they're trying, I think they've gotten most of the people back.
Okay.
Not everyone. The voice actors for Jubilee virtuously deciding not to do it. Because she wants an Asian to voice Jubilee, which is good.
Oh, cool. Good for her.
But many of the other voice actors are back.
So instead, she took over Psylocke's role. Just kidding. It's just a bad joke. It's a bad joke. I'm not trying to take it down.
Yeah, she's gonna do an English accent for Psylocke. I'm pretty excited, and we'll probably talk about it. It'd be kind of fun to get back to cartoons and literally pick up where we left off. That's real weird. I don't think the universe would give us that opportunity.
Very, very strange. But I'm here for it. Like, I'll definitely watch it. They also announced like a bunch of other Marvel stuff, and showed some previews off of some new MCU stuff that looks exciting. I find it very weird that they're probably going to do. They announced like the Peter Parker high school year thing, which is apparently going to be canon to the MCU, and is like everything that happened to, it's an origin story, which we didn't really get for Spider-Man in the main movies. And I just can't stop thinking about like a cartoon where Uncle Ben has to die for the 5th or 6th time for him to learn a lesson.
Wait.
And then like, so it's Uncle Ben and then Iron Man and then Mysterio. Like, what?
Yep.
This dude is just searching for a father figure his entire life.
Cannot wait to see that wet old bitch die again. I love it. He's got to go. I saw a cosplay thing where a guy cosplayed as Uncle Ben, and then his goal was to go around the convention just dying in front of as many Spider-Men as possible.
I have seen those pictures. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's real cute.
Very, very funny.
Yeah. And I'm just a little unclear on how Spider-Man got his powers.
Yeah.
I need someone to explain it for me for once.
We think that he was bitten by a radioactive spider and now has the proportional strength of a spider, but we don't know. You know what I'm saying? We don't absolutely know for certain what happened.
I need to see it many times. The No Way Home trailer came out. Like tons of Marvel news has come out since the last time we recorded.
Yeah, they had that big Disney day, so we got to see previews, like very, very brief previews of She-Hulk, which continues to look great, and then Moon Knight, which continues to look great. There was something else mixed in there now that I'm thinking of it. I can't remember what it is. Secret Wars. Yeah, we saw.
Secret Wars. Yeah. And then they also announced a bunch of stuff, which they did not show, but like them doing the spin-off Agatha Harkness show and the Marvel Zombies universe show.
And
so interesting stuff.
And Echo, they're doing that show.
Echo.
Which well, I don't know. You haven't watched Hawkeye yet, so I will just remain quiet.
Not yet.
So
not yet. We both watched Shang-Chi. A lot of Marvel, like non-comic Marvel stuff has happened.
A lot of Marvel news. It's very weird. I think we'll probably, like, we usually take some time to talk about Marvel stuff as we get the chance to watch it. People asked on Twitter if we were going to do like full episodes on like Shang-Chi or something, and I don't really think so. Like, I think we'll probably do like a wrap-up episode of Hawkeye and then kind of include all of our Marvel stuff. About the only one that I would be like really super interested in digging into is the Eternals, if it's actually good, and then probably the Spider-Man one is like a bonus episode or something, like a Patreon exclusive thing.
We'll see what happens when they come out. I don't want to do a full episode on Shang-Chi. I like Shang-Chi, but I don't remember a whole lot about it. I don't know how to talk about it.
I don't want to have to think about Shang-Chi that hard. Like, I don't. No. And that's not taking anything away from the movie. I feel like if the more I think about that movie, the more I'm going to get mad at it. So I'm just going to stop.
It was a popcorn movie to me. Like, I just watched some people get into fights, and it was fun.
I sort of want to do, and I don't know why I'm telling you this live on the air as opposed to just text you this, but I think you and I doing a commentary track to Venom 2 would be a lot of fun, because that movie is absolutely ridiculous, but we have to wait for it to hit some sort of streaming thing so that we can make that happen technically, because that's really hard to pull off. It's not on Netflix.
Yeah, we'd love to watch it as a the Venomverse defender.
Dude, that movie is so ridiculous, and I love it. I might watch it again. That's because it's only 90 minutes. It was so quick. So
yeah. You got Morbius coming out. It's a weird time. In Morbo Hounds.
Dude, it's so weird. Like, is Mobius and Blade gonna cross over? Like, is that because? I don't know, man.
It's like the only thing that would possibly make sense. I don't know what they're gonna do with Morbius other than have him show up with Blade.
Yeah.
Like, who wanted this even more than the Eternals? Like, who wanted this?
Like, Sony seems to be really leaning into their own like Sonyverse thing, because like in that trailer you can see like okay, just I think
in the Spider-Man trailer, Electro.
No. In the Mobius trailer, like you could see like towers with familiar names on them. I don't know why I can't remember the Green Goblin's name right now. Probably because there's a microphone in front of my face. Oscorp. Yeah, you can see like Oscorp buildings and shit like that. Like, they seem to be really going in on like, oh, we have our own little corner of Spidey people over here, but that's not related to Captain America at all. This is really strange.
It's how like all the people that he fought a few times in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's so they can get people to like how they're not gonna know what else it is. Like, it's so they know to watch it. Like, oh, Oscorp, I recognize that. I bet you this is one of the real ones.
Can't wait till we get our grimdark Craven.
Oh man, I'm Cravin4Kraven.
Cravin4Kraven.
I got Cravin4Kraven. And then some Craisins.
And Craven and the Cravenettes.
Let's get into this. It feels like we're wasting a lot of time, but this issue goes real quick.
Yes, absolutely.
And then another issue we're covering this week is the same event. It's doing the same events we've already seen, but from a different perspective.
Yeah, I don't even know how we're going to handle that. Besides, talk about it the exact same way. Like, it's ridiculous. Even as I was reading it, I was like, "Why are they doing this?"
I like the twist that does on it.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that, but I think that's neat. In kind of a meta way. And we could talk about that for an episode. For this one, we just get this cool, Acuna art at the beginning, looks like kind of crayon with Cyclops standing over Sinister and the Sinister army of all his pith helmet, old timey English guys.
Yep.
There.
And we're going to start out at the office of Katie Kildare, who is the superhuman PR firm for the X-Men. And she's basically doing some PR stuff saying how the Avengers are terrible. But she feels like it's super weird because why do you need a PR firm when you're, when the Phoenix Five have basically just made Earth into a better place, like every single day that they've existed.
Well, and they can just beam this information to people's heads.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The reveal at the end of this, as she's leaving, she's kind of pondering the events of the crossover, is that it looks like she has Mr. Sinister for a client. She puts down a folder and Mr. Sinister, there's a Mr. Sinister glossy in there.
Just got I want to sign Mr. Sinister Glossy so bad,
specifically
from this
era.
Yeah,
all right. It's very good.
And I really want him to sign it Sinister Prime. Like if it doesn't have Sinister Prime, then get the fuck out.
Oh yeah, you can get those knockoff ones. It's a Gallagher 2.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Gallagher's 2 through 9,000. We cut over to Utopia, the big cool floating Utopia that the X-Men made, with Magneto and Psylocke talking to each other. And they're there's a little undercurrent of this, of them talking about, being a little bit reminiscent of the old, the recent past when they were just regular X-Men. This dark moment for them and how they are kind of no longer Prime, basically.
Yeah. Because they've converted like the old Utopia Island into basically a museum at this point, like just what Magneto describes as a living museum of mutantkind's darkest hour, and it's very much like he's feeling the same way of like, why do I even exist? Like, why they don't even need other mutants at this point? Like they're so powerful. And Danger comes out, and Danger is like, hey, like, this is the price for getting what you want. Like this is what this kind of stuff you have to go through. And they say, well, like, hey, Magneto says, well, I'm basically like a PR firm, and Psylocke is a bodyguard to some of the most powerful beings in the universe. Like, but at least you still have something to do. You've got prisoners to guard. And then it's revealed that she is still under the control of our good friend Unit. The super sarcastic and shitty dildo with mind control.
Where's
powers.
Our Unit movie? How are we getting a Morbius movie without a Unit movie?
Dude, I do not know. Sony, somebody at Mr. Sony, please call me. We have news.
But Unit is coaching her, like, hey, make a joke. This is a good, if you make light of things, you'll make friends. And she attempts to make a joke. They're like, what do you have to complain about? And she goes, working long hours. And Magneto and Psylocke are like, It's a really funny panel.
I love this.
I'm really surprised it doesn't show up in like reaction images.
Me too, because it is great. And this pretty much kills the conversation. And they're like, all right, let's go sit down with the big five. We take a quick break to go over to the Crimson Cosmos, where Colossus is basically having a meeting with Satorak and saying like, hey, I don't want this thing anymore. Like, take it away from me. And Satorak is saying, yeah, before Juggernaut, that dude kind of sucked. Like, it was like drips and drabs of destruction. But now that you have the Phoenix Force,
he's hidden from you guys.
Yeah. But now that you have the Phoenix Force, like, this is great. Like, we can coexist. Like, you guys do all your rebirth stuff, and I will be here for the destruction stuff. But your superhero guys are great, which is a bummer. Because Colossus legit wants to be away from this curse.
Yeah, he attempts to. I like this scene a whole lot.
Yeah, me too.
He attempts to resist, and Cyttorak just goes no, and just shuts him down. He's like, a demon lord in his domain is outside of your law. It doesn't matter that you have the Phoenix Force. Be gone.
That's the same thing I said to my mom when she was trying to throw away my X-Men toys. I said that's the same thing I told my mom when she was trying to throw away my X-Men toys when I was 13.
Be gone. A teen lord has more power in this room than you can imagine. Magic had taken him to this demon realm, and she apologized. He's like, no, I knew it was hopeless. We turned Earth into a heaven, and I was stupid to think it might extend to me. Like, he's still being very tortured by this, and he's going to end up being the servant of kind of both these masters.
And then we jump to a boardroom meeting where it looks like everybody but Psylocke has a chair, and like they leave the chair, Hope Summers' chair, empty. And I know she's supposed to be like the muscle in the room or whatever, but it seems really weird.
It is real funny. They're like, we have an empty chair, and she's just standing next to it.
So the Danger Room, like the manifestation, the weirdly sexual manifestation of the Danger Room gets a seat at the table, but Psylocke, do not.
One of the all-time worst designs in comic books gets a seat, and me, who sold so many trading cards in the 90s, don't get a seat.
And stained so many socks.
Yeah, this is horseshit. Like, I don't know who's masturbating to Danger, but like, I'm sure they exist. Mm-hmm. But they don't have as many notches on the bedpost as Psylocke does.
No way. You're never going to catch up with that one. Ain't no way. Cyclops is saying that they pretty much have to get Hope back. And before they get really too far into it, they realize, or Emma Frost realizes, like, hey, somebody told Hope about the Phoenix, and I think that was Sinister. Storm accuses Emma Frost of invading her mind, and Emma says, no, absolutely not. All we did was just ask. Like, we're the storehouse for infinite knowledge. We don't, we contain an infinity, and I understand why you don't understand that. Kind of in a real condescending way.
So we know that Unit told Hope about the Phoenix Force. Do you think Unit's Sinister?
That would make a lot of sense, like a robot Sinister from the future or something.
Or just like a plant.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like he's got this history and everything like that, but he's got the same kind of, flamboyancy.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Like if I would believe any robot is a Sinister, it would be Unit, who just does not seem to want to stop cracking jokes at the expense of everybody around him. So
yeah, and he's just such a fabulous fop.
Exactly.
It's just very it's very sinister, and just them conflating these two, like her being it was Sinister. If the Phoenix could say it was Sinister, if it really was Unit, it would explain this. I'm not saying calling it a cinema sins and calling it a plot hole. Just
no, it'd be an interesting little wrinkle. Like if that's true, then that's a really good like hint to this, right? Because we know what happened, and it would be weird if the Phoenix was wrong about something.
The other thing that could have happened is that Sinister could have told her about the Phoenix, and then what we saw Unit doing was like filling her in further.
Sure.
Like Phoenix endnotes or something stupid like that. So they're basically saying if he did that, he didn't have a good reason, for it. Like Sinister's not a good dude, and everyone kind of says their piece, what they should do. We're getting this foreshadowing. This thing's going to be a theme throughout the whole week of Namor pushing war. The Sinister stuff is nothing. We had to put the Avengers in their place. And Emma says, no, Sinister goes first because he's a threat to Hope. And the Avengers, as much as they suck right now, they're not going to try to harm her.
Yeah.
Hope is safe, but if Sinister has his designs on her, she might not be.
They kind of consult the other Phoenix X-Men about this, and they ask Magic and Colossus their opinion, and Magic says some things only exist to burn. Sinister is among their number. Get you a goth GF, Carrie, because goddamn,
big titty goth GF. As I can say, and I love this Cyclops saying exactly what Sinister thought he would. We've got this power, we can make a better world, and I think a better world is a world without Sinister in it.
Yeah.
It'd be a better world. And that's what Sinister predicted, he would say. Exactly.
And then
so they're going to find him.
Yep. And we're going to skip over to Sinister London, far beneath the Earth's surface. I kept saying that this was beneath London, I think in the last episode we talked about this issue, and I've just now realized that it's not beneath London. It's in a totally different place that just it was made to look like London. So,
it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean you would think, but yeah, it's Sinister, so it's got to be related to a Summers family event or somewhere.
I would draw to your attention to the first panel in this with dialogue in it. When this little Sinister assistant's coming out and telling Sinister.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the assistant's face.
Oh yeah, he, like just very eyebrows how like high, and it's just very like. I'm a little worried. Like it definitely seems like a few messengers have been killed before this frame, right?
When it's a big cartoon face, it's real. It looks like something that like someone would draw on like a napkin. Like I like Danielle Kuna tons.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like this artist a lot, in the kind of crayon style. But it's a very silly looking drawing.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like a human face at all. Basically, he's letting Sinister know that the X-Men, the Phoenix host, are trying to find their location. They're getting like the psychic probes or whatever.
Yeah.
And I love this little bit of them being, thinking that they can buy some time. They're like, hey, disconnect our spires from the hive mind. Tell them to conceal us for as long as they can and honor them because they're fighting a psychic thermopylae, which means they're going to die. And it happens immediately.
Yeah.
Emma Frost just pushes a little bit further and their towers just explode. It's great.
And then we zoom out. We didn't really mention this, but like the Phoenix Five were kind of doing this like astral projection thing where they were like standing around the globe, and they were many, many times the size of the planet. When she finally pushes through and is able to find them, we zip back to the boardroom, and Emma says she's found Sinister, and then they go into the Siege Courageous, which. Boy, I've missed something. was just going into a siege.
I think that's from the earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've had that for a while because they referred to it. But I don't know. It's like how they teleport, but then there was a lot being made about not having a way to teleport.
Yeah, I don't get it.
So I don't know what this is. The Siege Courageous, I've not read a bunch of comics with. The Siege Perilous is the wild ass thing that like is the reason why Psylocke is in her body.
Yeah.
And did all kinds of shit. Like the Siege Perilous I know about. The Siege Courageous I'm not super familiar with.
They jump into it, teleport away, and the other X-Men are like, "What do you want us to?" And his Scott's like, just chill. Go catch up on Downton Abbey. Like, let's go see what's up. Like with the Duchess. You know what I'm saying?
I love this scene. And then they're just like, no need to endanger yourself. And then we just have Storm, Magneto, Psylocke, and Danger, two of which are like among the most powerful mutants in the world, just hanging out in a boardroom. Like, well, damn.
Yeah, and I would I would put Psylocke up there for one of the most dangerous mutants in the world. Like that's a powerhouse team. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If I wanted to do a match 3 video game, I wanted those 3 on my team.
It's a powerful Marvel versus Capcom team right here.
Oh, absolutely.
They got going on. So they're just going to go see what's on Game Pass. And they come out in Anchorage, Alaska. They're realizing it's well below the ground. And Cyclops points out, he's doing this to taunt me. You're bringing me back. This is all part of his plan. He makes a mistake. He thinks that we're still human.
Yep.
Like he's gonna try to get my goat, and it's not gonna work.
And they just decide to, use their Phoenix Force powers to drill a hole into the ground.
They just stand and just go like shoot downwards. It's real good.
Underneath, Sinister realizes that they're approaching pretty rapidly, and he starts sending a message to all of his Sinister guys saying that he declares total war. That everybody is going to be a soldier in this fight. He tells his assistant through the means of like a heel tap. I just love this Sinister so much, Gary. It's got such attitude.
Yeah, he's doing a curtsy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just insanity.
That's how know. He's dancing.
He says, set the creation engines to full steam, squirt our brother Sinisters as if there's no, squirt out our brother Sinisters as if there's no tomorrow. And you can tell that the assistant guy is very disciplined because he doesn't say, excuse me, what did you just say?
What do you want me to squirt? Is that really the official verb for this genetic engineering? He says, sir, they'll only live a day if we develop them this quickly. And he's like, oh, that's silly. They're going to live a lot less than that. These are foot soldiers, that we're making. If we don't win, there's no tomorrow. We have to do this. The X-Men breach into the cavern, and he kind of gives this little war speech. Did you notice we didn't see these in his tour?
I am so...
But all of his Cyclops gimps,
dude, I am
chained by the neck.
I am just like wearing the weird mask that's obviously like got the visor on it, and then they're all chained together from the neck, and they're not wearing any clothes but little tight leather underwear. What is happening? Like,
yes,
if you entered a battle and you saw this on the other side of you would just turn around and leave. You'd be like, this battle is not for me. I'm out. I'm done.
I think it is Sinister's plan is like to confuse his enemy, into a self-cessed suicide.
I mean, it is like insanity.
What do I do? It's not like if you have the Phoenix Force, you can't fuck yourself. Like you don't even have to need like a clone of yourself. You could just do it if you have the Phoenix Force.
Okay. Honestly, I think I'm just going on just a limb here, but I feel like using the Phoenix Force to fuck yourself without a clone is weirder than just doing it with a clone. Like,
I'm just saying that these clones are not going to throw Cyclops for a loop.
Okay.
He's had this.
It's fair.
Every flavor of this. He's had sex with Golden Age Cyclops. He's had sex with Cyclops 2099. He's done it all. Age of Apocalypse Cyclops. Like, if you get the Phoenix Force, if you're going to be tempted by weird sex shit, you've already done it. And your girlfriend is Emma Frost, even though sometimes she makes out with Namor. So, like, she's way more creative than you. Like, she was talking about doing weird stuff with Thor just, like, a couple of weeks ago. So we know for a fact. These are all things that Cyclops has done in his head at the very least, right?
100%.
And then, so he's like, get Marauder battalions, engage. He actually says engage, enrage, infilade, which I don't know what the last one means. But then we get our Madeline Pryor's there, who's like, what do we do? And he's like, your time will come. And you can kind of see what he's trying to do. This all seems like psychic warfare. like him doing it in Anchorage, him having the Cyclops gimps, him having all the ex-wives. He's trying to get under Cyclops' skin. And we'll see how it works, but I would love if Cyclops is right and it literally is just like, yeah, he thinks that we're human. This shit doesn't work on me.
Exactly.
And he just obliterates everything. Partly because through this whole crossover, I've been wanting the X-Men to have a win because I still think they're right. The nothing this week has convinced me otherwise. So,
I mean, they're getting close. Like Namor, having Namor this week, I think is going to be the thing that topples my opinion of this whole thing. But then I think you could just kill Namor and be okay. Just put him in a jail cell next to you.
Namor needs to chill 100%. But also, is it worth it? Again, solving world hunger. It's a real big thing on that side of the scale.
Our big last page is the Phoenix Force coming down from the sky as the entire city of Sinister's London seems to be trying to blast them out of it. Big question for me: if you're a host of the Phoenix Force, do you have to manifest the fire wings to fly, or you think you just fly without them?
I think it's just fun.
Okay, so it's just an intimidation tactic at that point. Like, it looks cool, feels cool. Okay, got it.
Yeah. It's also probably cold down there.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it is Alaska. Yeah, you're underneath Alaska.
Yeah. Underneath Alaska and London, which is also not it's foggy and gray and everything. Like, it just feels like it'd be really nice.
Namor's just cutting glass.
Maybe
with
I'm just cold in
those
real
nips.
life, and that's why I'm saying it. But
that's it.
And Namor still doesn't have the little fiery wings on his feet.
No,
which I agree with you. He should have.
Yeah, just somebody needs to draw some fan art of that. That's not it. Just for my own personal use.
Yeah. That's not him being fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
So looking forward to where this goes. Out of the side series, this is definitely the one I'm most interested in.
Me too.
And I'm excited for next time.
It is very funny to me that our Phoenix people are operating on a major mistake, and it just gets them embroiled into a battle with Sinister. And it really feels like it's just Cyclops' first time thinking that he's more powerful than Sinister. So he's like, finally, I can just deal with this dude once and for all. I can never have to talk to this guy no matter what happens.
You had to imagine how annoying Sinister would be.
Oh my God.
If he was part of your life and you were Scott Summers. Good God.
I mean, just at every turn, every single turn.
The cartoon does it. He freaks out and just blasts him into oblivion when they finally take care of him in the cartoon.
Yeah.
Because he like punked him on his wedding. He faked his wedding.
Unbelievable.
He made him think he got married.
God, you got Ashton Kutcher at your own wedding. Poor Scott Summers.
Yeah. Oh, what a dick. If you like the show, head to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv and support us, please. Get bonus shows and shows early and listen to all these in one big satisfying chunk. You can also leave us ratings, reviews on Apple Podcast or Podcast Addict, or tell your friends.
Yeah.
You have X-Men friends, and you're going to have more X-Men friends when the X-Men finally get incorporated into the MCU, and I have to log off Twitter forever because I just can't handle it being a fun little Twitter activity every single day to talk shit about the X-Men. They'll get folded into it and it sucks.
Oh my God. They're going to, one of the actors that they cast will have done something problematic like 18 years ago. And it's going to be like the Twitter villain of the day because they didn't credit someone correctly on a birthday cake. And I'm just going to be very annoyed by the whole thing.
Yep. Yeah. It's going to suck. Leave my X-Men alone, please.
We'll be back in a couple of days with Wolverine and the X-Men.